show me how to live without feeling anything.
Welcome back, everybody, as we talk about Online Survival Season 2, Episode 10. What up, everybody?
Oh,
I feel like Aspen has a lot to say for this episode, so I'm going to start with you this week and your ups and downs.
okay. Yeah, so who went up for me this week was the Wonder Kid, man. Alex, wow. I I'm starstruck. Yeah, I as Patty says, his balls dropped and yeah, he came to fucking play. So Alex, I'm rocking with Alex right now. I like how he running shit. Alex went up again for me. And it's only right because this will be the last time I can downvote Dot, but fuck you, Dot. You are down for one last time. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, it gotta be Dot. He killed himself and I can't wait to get into it.
Days.
My down is a tie between Alex and Hassan. With Dot gone, both of those two are kind of outnumbered by Q, Elizabeth, and Dee Dee. Their connections are a little bit stronger. If Alex or Hassan don't win this next elimination, they're going to be left out of the final four. And my up is the complete opposite, is Elizabeth and Q. Again, Dee Dee's a goat. She's not going to win this game. Elizabeth pulled out a win, and she's got that strong tie with Q. And then Q is just balling. Like, she somehow made it this far without getting knocked out of the games. Prop to her. So both of them are up. Dee Dee's right in the middle. Alex and Hassan. Got to get it together, guys.
Fan guy.
Absolutely Q. Q, in my opinion, sealed arguably a final two for her and probably Dee with this particular vote out of Dot. I think it set the stage for those two to run it from here. So Q and Dee Dee arguably through the roof, but I'm gonna say Q because she was the brains, I think, behind it. And then down, I mean, obviously, I'll give y'all one guess.
Hassan.
Yeah, you already know.
Final cleaner.
Oh,
The Tom Brady, the ultimate GOAT, Hassan. Hassan has no one left to turn to. Hassan has no allies left. Hassan is on an island. Arguably, you could say this is a great reason to take him to the end, but no. Hassan is bottomed out now.
Well, Aspen, we'll get right into it, and Dot finally realizing that Elizabeth and Alex might not be voting with him and having his back as much.
yeah, I guess it finally came to the light. I don't know what the fuck struck him after the 30th time. Yeah, I was so shocked. Honestly, I was just shocked at how he was like, man, what the fuck, man? They are liars. They're lying. They lied to my face. Like, bro, you been fucking lying. Like, it just is weird that he acting like he not doing the same shit. Like, that's the only part I don't get is like, everybody's fucking lying, bro, but just like, don't try to make it seem like you're fucking about to lose your shit because they keep lying to you. They've lied to you at least like 3 votes this time, bro. Like, you should know better. That's your fault.
I will say, though, Days, that Dot feels like Dot's not really lying about his vote to them is the problem.
So let's be clear on this, okay? Let's try to tie this into something that folks could really understand. All right, you're in a relationship, you got your girl here, but you're cheating on her on the side, and both of them, you know, your main girl, she told you a lie, but it was that she was going to pick something up from the store, but she really picked something else up. So he's doing the cheating, they're lying about something minuscule. I mean, that's what this dude's doing. He can put it any way that he wants to. He was two-timing his team. He went to the cleaners as soon as he could. So let's stop, placing the blame other than where it needs to be, which is on him. So he was never fully honest and faithful to them. He has no excuses. He got what he deserved in the end.
And guy, why is Dunn such a very bad relationship?
I mean, I think it started at the very beginning when they couldn't win anything. They literally, arguably, you could say they were cursed from the jump in every possible way. And they've been fractured from the beginning, which is surprising because a lot of times the things that build bonds between people are votes, as weird as that sounds. Like voting people out makes you closer to people than anything because you kind of been through the battle together. So you would think that the remaining members of Team Dunn would be extremely close, but there was distrust. There's just been a ton of distrust there. They've all been lying. So Team Dunn, doomed from the beginning. They should have been called Team Doom.
You did mention they don't vote together. So you said if they vote together, they'd be close, but they don't vote together, which is the problem.
That might be what fractures them, dude. Well said. Because they didn't, voting united brings people together. And they don't vote united.
Yeah. I was just going to say there could have been an opportunity for them to vote together if Dot's attention wasn't divided with other folks. If he actually would have focused on Team Dunn, they could have done something. But he was two-timing.
Yeah, I agree. He was too busy trying to carry out the cleaners' plan and do what the fuck they wanted to do. And he wasn't worried about what his team wanted to actually do. And if he would have paid attention, he would have knew that they weren't trying to fuck with nothing he was talking about. So
this is what happens when you have two phones.
Yep.
He sounds like he has experience.
He did talk about it like, he's like, so let me tell y'all about something everybody must know about.
Right.
Days.
So, unfortunately, this challenge, the actual video of the challenge got corrupted, which is why there was no actual footage from the actual challenge. But Elizabeth finally wins a challenge, fan guy. Is this going to help her any?
Yeah, I mean, it gives her at least something to put on her resume now. I mean, she has been playing a strategic game. Like, she has. The problem is others have been playing slightly, or maybe even others were playing equally strategic game, but they've been more outspoken about it. And therefore, the attention is going to be called to certain players strategically more than Elizabeth. So she doesn't have the strategic advantage against certain people at the end right now. And so, yes, she needs every single thing she can put on her resume, even if it's just one competition win.
Aspen, actually, since the merge, only Dee and Alex have not won a challenge. So, I mean, can it help her in any way?
I mean, a little bit. That's surprising to hear that Alex hadn't won a challenge since the merge. I guess I hadn't even put that together. Which is crazy because he was so strong before the merge. But,
Even Hassan has won one.
Yeah, I know, but does it even count? Does Hassan's win count on his resume compared to all the other awful shit that he's done?
Oh, win is a win.
Well, that's true. A win is a win. I mean, yeah, I thought that. I mean, it'll help her a little bit, but like Fangai said, let's be honest, she can't sit next to too many people and say, oh, well, I won that one game and that'd be enough, So I think she got to bring out some more stops, honestly.
There's something to be said about recency bias. In games like this. Again, I'm not that big of a Survivor fan, so I resort to Big Brother wins and whatnot. But Ian Terry, all of his wins were at the end of Big Brother 14. And I don't think he really played that great of a social game or strategic game in the beginning. With that being said, I do think Elizabeth is playing a strategic game, but she does need those wins at the end. And let's not say this competition wasn't hard, because this might be one of the harder competitions in the game. But I would like to see her win, that very last challenge that gets you into the final 3, final 2, whenever, because that's a big one. And that's controlling your own destiny at the end of the game. And she can really use those on her resume. But the big thing that Elizabeth has in her pocket is her ability to explain eloquently what she has done in this game, even though you haven't seen it. And I think that she might be one of the best to do so.
So after this challenge, I mean, we got to talk about Dot again, because that was a big part of the episode. Wanting to, maybe try and work with Q, Aspen. Was it too little, too late? I feel like that's kind of Dot's game this season, is he's just a little, too late every round.
Yes, that is his game. He waits to the last second I just thought it was so funny. It was so many times that I just looked at Q's face and you could just read all over her face that she just wasn't having it. She was not fucking with working with him. I don't feel like she even entertained it even a little bit, because she know we ain't going for that shit, because Dot is a fucking snake and he can't be trusted. And yeah, I mean, it time and time again is just proven that don't fucking work with Dot. And I'm glad that she didn't work with his ass. I mean, she seen right through that shit. Period.
I mean, there was no reason for her to work with him, because if he's gone, she has Elizabeth and Dee Dee. Like, those are the numbers to the end.
True.
Dot's lack of game awareness is showing up. I think you hit the nail on the head, Nick. He's one step behind.
Yeah.
I mean, he's showing that his head's in it, because he gets there. Like, it's not like he doesn't get to what he needs to do. He's just constantly one step behind. So he just needs to, he really needed to start thinking more steps ahead.
Should he have maybe worked on Dee Dee more than Q, Faka?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's simply because Dee Dee at least appears to be more of an emotional player. And so I think that trying to get through to Q, who already knows the game's winding down, the numbers are winding down, and I've got my squad, I don't need anyone else. Trying to get through to Q because she knows the score. So trying to get through to her is just pointless. Trying to appeal to Dee Dee's sense of loyalty, honesty, her emotions, which has been shown to be her both strength and weakness in a lot of ways in the game. And he didn't try to exploit that, which would have been his best in to try to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I feel like Dee Dee has even like I feel like she is not like coming out. I don't even know if she's voted for Dot yet, but like I don't feel like she had no beef with Dot. So it is weird that he just didn't try to work with her, because I feel like she kind of had no problem with him and still wanted to go after other people and not go after him. So yeah, that was kind of weird. He went after the person that he wanted to work with, the person that he's been going after, instead of somebody else.
Yeah, I think he missed a real opportunity to exploit Dee Dee's vote for Elizabeth. Yeah, he should have, because all he needed was Hassan. And then if you can get Dee Dee to sway from voting with Q again, which she has shown over and over that she's not always going to vote with her people, you could have used that to your advantage and got 3 votes on Elizabeth and gotten her out instead of him.
That was perfectly said.
Yeah.
I even feel like he could have got her to vote for Alex, because I mean, she keeps teeter-tottering back and forth on voting for Alex or not.
Hell yeah, she would have voted Alex out in a heartbeat.
The key to that is that her and Q, their votes, the key to what they said is really that her and Q's votes have not been aligned. They're at the point where they won't vote each other out. You can tell they're never going to vote each other out, but who they're voting out is very much independent of the other. And yes, Dee would have gone for probably anyone but Q. So yeah, like Dot missed a big opportunity there.
And he knew where her vote laid the challenge before, or the elimination before, and he just didn't capitalize on it.
Yeah. He did.
He's playing checkers, not chess, as Mitch you would say. My big brother playing checkers. He's stepped behind on everything.
So we'll go to the tribal because it was a big part of the episode. A lot of tension at this tribal. Dot's emotional. Aspen.
Emotional. Is that what we calling it? Emotional? Dot was acting emotional. Oh, okay. Yeah, that shit was weird. I didn't know that it was really getting to him like that. Like, I kind of felt like, wow, like I just thought it was coming out of nowhere. Like, damn, bro, I didn't know that you really felt this hit by it, you know? Like, at the end of the day, you've been saying you wanted to get Alex out since you left his team. So you shouldn't be surprised that he not voting with you. You wanted to go after him in the first place. So yeah, that shit was weird, but honestly, man, I fucking gained some respect for Alex because he's like, no, fuck that, Dot, you lying. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, you are lying, Dot. You know, like, yeah. Dot fucked up.
Alex almost fucked up too, in my opinion. I think he should have just let Dot make a fool of himself. Speaking up at that time, he did get some votes against him, right? So that that makes him an easy target next round. I think he should have just kept his cool a little bit. He's been doing good so far. You just take it back down. You're in the last stretch, man, and I know it's stressing everybody out because you're so close to that win, but you can't let it get to you. I mean, that's easier said than done. I mean,
right. Listen, you're not telling me people are looking at Alex more than they looking at Hassan, dumbass, who is sitting up in here talking about, no, I voted for Jake. Like, you
the
voted
thing is, you can win against Hassan. There's no reason to vote him out. You can win against him in the final two.
Even
you
with
might not win against Alex.
The jury, you think you can win against Hassan?
After seeing Cam DeRosa, yeah, with the exception of Dot, I think Patty and Meg are, looking at this from a strategic standpoint. Dot, he's bitter.
I don't know if anybody else is. I don't know if Rayleigh or Jake would not vote for Hassan.
Right.
Rayleigh or Jake would probably be the only two, though. Hassan's Tom Brady. He's the ultimate GOAT. Like, he really is. Like, no, he really is.
He is a much bigger GOAT than Didi. Didi, I'm sorry that I even called you a GOAT because Hassan is like the ultimate GOAT, honestly. Like, this fool, I don't know. He just be lost. He be lost. He genuinely don't be knowing what's going on. I feel like he really do be watching TV. It was his favorite soap opera zone or some shit. Like, he like, no, I ain't vote like that. And everybody like, bruh, you had to, like, it was kind of obvious that he kind of didn't know what's going on and he walked himself into something.
Well, he's been honest so long in this game that he tells a lie and it was not a good one.
No, I don't think he can lie. I think that's the problem is he can't lie.
Anything else stand out at Tribal, Fan Guy?
No, I mean, just more of what y'all said. It's more of just like, I thought Dot's attitude is funny, just because, like Dave said, most people that are trying to win are telling little lies. They're telling little lies to everyone, and I think it's just it's like hypocrisy. It's like being a hypocrite to like be like, everyone else is lying, but I was lying too. Just admit, that you're lying, and don't, but it's easy to be salty when everyone's coming after you, so like let's not just, I feel for Dot knowing that like everyone's coming for him. It's a crappy spot to be in.
In that particular instance, though, from different perspectives, Alex thought Dot was lying about the vote because he knew the plan, but Dot actually was telling the truth that he voted for Q.
They all fucked that vote up anyway, so I don't know if they even know who was lying or telling the truth. Nobody.
Hassan didn't vote for Jake.
That's
Yeah, I
weird.
think everybody figured out the math on that one.
Yeah,
the-
wait,
the
so
communi-
what were the votes? Q vote, Dot voted for Q, and then everybody else voted for Dot, right?
Oh, in this vote?
Yeah.
No, in this vote, Dot and Hassan voted for Alex, and then everybody else voted for Dot.
Oh, okay.
And Dot just had to use his safety card, and Alex
And
goes.
that right there pissed me off more than anything. Was he fucking went home with his power up in his pocket, and I'm like, bruh, like you really thought you were safe for one more time? You really
Called
want?
it.
Yeah, I did not understand why he didn't play it at this tribal.
Yeah,
Lars?
especially after him and Alex kind of beefing there in the tribal.
Right.
Worst no idol play I've ever seen on any season of Survivor, any season of any reality type show of any style ever. That might be the worst no idol play.
James is still worse because he went home with two.
Touche.
So who gets the credit for, getting Dot not to play it? Is that strictly on Dot just
Like
being lost?
anybody gets the credit.
That's
Because there was a plan in place to kind of snow Dot so that he wouldn't play it. Who came up with that idea
Q.
and did it even?
It was Q originally.
Yeah.
Q was gonna tell Dot that she was gonna vote for Alex, I guess.
like, my question is who did Dot really think was going to vote with him? This is why James was at least like more blindsided. Like I feel like Dot knew the fucking votes were coming for him and still didn't play an idol. Like who does that?
I think he thought the votes were not coming to him; they were going to Q instead of him for some reason.
Okay,
I guess.
Even though he didn't vote for Q, that's crazy. It was like Fang I said, who did he think was gonna vote for him? You just basically cussed Alex out and called him out.
I want to be the fly on the wall while Dot and his wife were watching that last episode. I want to see what his wife was saying.
Probably, why the fuck did you vote out Patty still?
Bad mistake. That's where he fucked up at. That's where he went wrong.
I genuinely thought, I'm not even bullshitting at all. Like I thought he couldn't play his idol at Tribal when he didn't play it. I thought it was
We still had 2 more rounds, which is why
I
I guess
thought
he
it was
wanted to wait
last
one
week.
more.
because I was like, why is he not playing it? Is it expired? That's what was going through my head at that moment. I'm like, is it expired? It's not expired? Like, what?
Now, I kind of disagree with you guys on this, that Q and D not working with Dot for this is like you're saying they have the numbers now, but I think this move actually only benefits Elizabeth. I feel like it gives Elizabeth more power than it gives Q because Elizabeth has Alex and Q.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I put both Q and Elizabeth up. I mean, to be fair, I think, you have Dee and Q, but Elizabeth is also close with Q. And there's kind of a tie or a connection between Elizabeth and Alex and Elizabeth and Q. So right now, I mean, I think Q is in the best spot. Then Elizabeth.
I just feel like that if Q or Dee vote out Alex instead of Dot, then what's Elizabeth gonna do? Fucking work with Hassan? I doubt it.
A lot of validity to that. I mean, that's true from a strategic standpoint. I agree. I mean, I think the numbers are just dwindling at this point where it really is going to come down to, is somebody going to try to work with Hassan this week, or is he just going to be the easy next vote off? And then at that point, you're at the final 4 where you can assume, at least from the way I see it, that Q and Dee aren't going to vote against each other. They're going to vote with one another at that point.
There's also...
So it could come down to maybe a fire making between 2 of them at 4. Between one person from each side.
I don't know if Q said it in her confessional, but she could have also been thinking, who do I win against in the final 2, Alex or Dot? So I don't know if we heard that. I don't know.
Well, to be clear, this season is a final 3 and not a final 2.
Oh, that changes a lot too, actually. I mean, then it's probably beneficial for someone to try to work with Hassan right now. As weird as that sounds, like someone try to pull, like if you're DD and Q, try to pull in Hassan and take out Elizabeth or Alex. And if you're Elizabeth or Alex, try to pull in Hassan and take a shot at DD or Q. I think that's the best way to play it from like a team standpoint.
I do think that in the end, Q has a better chance of winning against Alex than Dot, because Dot has the cleaners. If y'all,
Yeah, that's
think
true.
y'all think that for Hassan, so
When is
and he's
is there a comprehensive challenge? So that's not going to be
That Final Four.
So it's going to be a Final Four comprehensive challenge. Wow.
is that you mean a combination of all the games, or
Yeah, like a bunch of different challenges.
And does the winner of that competition get to cut one person basically?
No, but still a vote could be a tie.
Okay.
Oof.
Juice.
Yeah, that's messy.
I'm really curious to see if they go after Hassan or if they, if they use him.
I think they have to use him. I think at this point Q has to get Alex out. That's her last, real threat in the finale to beat her.
Yeah.
Everybody else she wins against easily, I think.
Oh yeah. She wiped the floor with him. But I thought it was interesting. She told Alex that he had a better chance to take Dee and Elizabeth. And I'm like, dang, like that is his ideal final three that I could see him winning in, because I think he got a good chance against both of them. But I don't really see. I could see Alex winning against them too, and I could see Q basically winning against anybody else she sit next to.
Wait, so final three, that means votes can be split 3 ways in the finale. So you're not just voting for 2 people. So 7 people on the jury.
Ooh.
So yeah, seven votes split between 3 people. If one person gets a vote, that kind of, could change things up a little bit.
Bitter jury matters more than ever.
Yeah.
Like how many of the cleaners are just going to be like, fuck you because she screwed Meg, and so we're not going to vote for her. You can easily see a dynamic like that unfolding with that few numbers and 3 people to vote for.
Yeah. Like if Hassan's in that final 3 and he gets a vote from, Dot and Rayleigh, then, or Jake gets those 3 votes and the rest are split up, that throws a wrench in a lot of plans. Do they know at this point that it's a final 3?
Yeah.
They do.
Can y'all imagine Hassan being the face of this season?
Winning with 3 votes against the other 2 split.
He's just
No.
Oh my God. I would be so bummed. As much shit as I've given Q, like even in our interview, like she deserves a win, like no doubt. And if Hassan pulled out a win with 3 votes, I probably wouldn't watch the show anymore.
Right. I'm throwing my fucking computer out the door. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Well, usually I ask what they need to do to stay in the game, but since we're going into the finale, we might as well talk about the final and who you think is best for everybody to bring to their final 3. And we'll go ahead. I also want to talk about how you rate them socially, strategically, and their jury management. We'll go ahead and start with Elizabeth. Banga, you could go ahead if you want to talk about her socially or strategically or her jury
Elizabeth,
management.
I'm going to go on a 10-point scale here because I am a fan of Marvel comic trading cards where they have powers listed by 1 to 10 on the back, like speed, strength, durability, etc. So I'm pretending that's what we're doing, and I'm picturing each player on the playing card. So Elizabeth's playing card, her stats would read strategic powers. She's probably had like a 9 or an 8 because she is very, very strategic. I think the problem for her with that is if she's up against Q at the end, Q, whatever you want to rate Elizabeth strategically, Q gets that +1. I don't even want to give Q a number. It would be, Elizabeth +1 because she's played very similar strategic game, just a little bit better, a little bit more outspoken about it. But anyway, so Elizabeth, 8, strategic. Social, I think, has been a not great part of her game, but not as bad as it may seem. So I'm going to give her like a 5 for being average. I think people don't particularly dislike her when she's in chats with them. They're not like, ooh, Elizabeth, I don't want to talk to her. But they're also not like, ooh, Elizabeth, I really want to work with her. So we're going to say like a 5. Her competition play, I mean, that's more on like a scale of a 2 or a 1.5 because she did get the win. So I'll give her the 2 instead of the 1. I don't think she's going to be favored in most competitions. Overall, her prowess in the final, I think she's going to have a good chance at winning against just about anyone except for, I think she could talk her way into a win. I'll say it like that, against anyone except for maybe Q and maybe Alex. I think she wants to sit next to Didi or Hassan, but unfortunately, I think as the numbers stand in the final 5, those are the 2 people she's furthest from. So that seems to be the least likely scenario for her, unfortunately.
Do you think she needs to sit next to Didi and Hassan? Maybe Alex.
No, she doesn't want to sit next to Q unless it's an all cleaner, bitter jury. And then anyone wants to sit next to Q.
Dave's thoughts on Elizabeth?
Kind of the same as what Fanguy said. I do rate her a little bit higher on her social ability because, you know, nobody really dislikes her. You can have a conversation with her. It's free flowing. You never feel like she's lying to you or being dishonest unless you're Dot. But competition wise, way low on the scale. I do think this last one helps her. And if she wins this last one, that's good for the books, but she's really low. Strategic, like Fanguy said, she's good. I think she's played the game that she wanted to play and played it perfectly with how the game turned out. But you still have to rate Q and Alex on a whole nother level than her. Ultimately, I think her best shot of winning is against Didi and Hassan, mainly because her ability to speak and get her thoughts out clearly and, you know, kind of tell everybody why she deserves to win the game.
Aspen.
Yeah, I mean, they sum that shit up perfectly. That's obviously I want Q to be sitting next to Didi and Hassan because that is a surefire win. As far as Elizabeth goes, though, she has to sit next to Didi and Hassan, and she is so far away from that I don't see it happening. She got a terrible. I'm probably gonna give her a 1 in comp, and I would say her social game is about a 6 or a 7 because she does have a better social game than most people. It is kind of average though, but she is working with Q and she has worked her way in there, and so I gotta respect that. So yeah, I think she got a pretty good chance if she can be beside Hassan, you know.
I think a big part of that sociability, like everybody has to remember, she missed that first challenge and was kind of able to get everybody not to vote her out. Like she should have been gone the very first round.
Oh, true.
But yeah, like she did. That's something I think she needs to bring up if she gets to the finale. I should have been gone the first week, and I was likable enough that everybody, you know, gave me a shot.
Aspen, what about Hassan? Hassan? What does his jury management have to do to get all these cleaners to vote for him?
Bruh, he has no jury management according to the jury. I mean, like, I don't know if y'all caught that.
I mean,
but
there was a point in one of the Camdoses where they say Hassan might win this thing. So,
Like he won his challenge by default. Everybody else got DQ'd.
yes, exactly. That's it, Days. Yeah. Yeah, Hassan, honestly, he ain't got no chance. Like Dave said, he better not win. I mean, I just really don't see him. I mean, oh man, I'm trying hard to like think of any fucking scenario right now in which Hassan could win unless the cleaners just vote for him. But Meg don't seem like she just gonna vote for Hassan just because. So I mean, He don't got no chance as far as I'm concerned. Vote his ass out, please.
Days, he doesn't need Meg's vote if he could get Jake, Rayleigh, and Dot.
No. On the scales that fan guy was saying, he's a 1-1-1. That's he's bad at everything. But now that I think about it, with it being a final three, yeah, if he gets Rayleigh, Jake, and Dot, and the other 4 votes are split, holy shit. I mean, maybe that's how he wins, is going to the finale against Alex and Q. I mean, I would hate to see that, but it could happen, you know? As much as I hate bitter juries, absolutely despise them, it could happen.
Whoa.
Fanga, you hit yourself in the head. Did you have a realization?
Days just said a lot that made a lot of sense.
Right?
A lot of things in my brain just fired off, synapses from random, just things I've heard, things just putting a lot of puzzles together for a lot of different reasons. And it actually does scare me that Hasan could win this season. I think it's actually really scary because I'm not gonna be as hard on my Marvel style comic card as Days. I think Hasan will get I think I'll give him a 5 socially, because he's good at like batting the eyes at the ladies a little bit, and he tries. He got the, he spits a little bit. So he's trying. So I'm not gonna give him a 1 because he is trying. So he's like a 5 because I'll weigh the good with the bad on that. Competitively, I don't think he's a 1 either. I think he's like a 4 or a 3, probably a 3. I don't think he was as pitiful, at everything. So like a 3, and then strategically 100% a 1. I don't even know what's going on most of the time. So it just kind of is what it is with him, man. But I am petrified he wins this game for that exact reason. And that is his best route to the final. Consequently, is exactly what Dave said. I wouldn't have processed it as such till he said it, but really thinking about the votes he would need to win the game, sit next to Q and Alex, and then get all the cleaner votes, and Dot's maybe bitter self, and that's all you need. Wow.
So terrifying. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you fucked us up right there with that one, Days. Damn. Woof.
Days, what about Alex?
Strategic wise, I'll give him a 9. I think there's been some missteps that he's made, especially during this last tribal. I think he should have just kept quiet a bit. Competition, he's kind of fallen off since the merge. I think he really needs to put together that last win, especially to secure himself against what looks to be, numbers against him potentially. And then what's the other rating scale? Strategic. Oh, sociability. Yeah, he's good. He's a cool dude. Unless you consider him to be a flat out liar with everything, I think everybody kind of likes him. And he's starting to get some props in the jury, especially from Patty. His little balls have fallen, so that boosts him up in the ratings. In order to win this, I think there's a lot of options for him to win. I guess since I said it, he can't win against Hasan now. So I guess he has to get, I think his best bet is against Elizabeth and Didi. I don't think he wants to split the votes against Q. And I think worst shot is to have Hasan in that final 3 with him. So best chance to win, Didi and Elizabeth in the final 3 with him.
Okay.
I agree with a lot of that. I think I'm going to give Alex strategically. See, I don't consider, I guess, popping off a tribal like that. If you consider that a strategic error, I consider that more of a generalized gameplay error than a necessary strategic error. I think Alex is like as close to, yeah, I give Alex a 9 strategically. Like it's almost as good as you can get. Competitively, I'm not going to knock him for not winning stuff because a lot of these competitions are like Highlander. There can be only one, but I'm confident that Alex has been in the top few of pretty much every competition. So I think of all the competitors left, he's the one who has the best shot at winning the comprehensive competition. So I would give Alex a solid 8 competitively as well. And then socially, again, he's been telling nothing but lies. They still haven't all fully caught up to him yet. So obviously his social game, in my opinion, is pretty damn good. If you could tell that many lies and it not immediately kick you in the dick. So, I mean, I'm going to give him a 8s across the board and maybe a 9 strategically for Alex. I think he's a very strong player. I think I disagree with Daze's assessment. I think he can beat Hassan, but not if Q's also there. So I think Alex's best scenario to win is a final that does not involve Q.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aspen, would you agree? And where do you think Alex's jury management lies, especially with Dot now in the jury, maybe, bitter and painting
Oof.
things up against Alex?
He too bitter. It's leaving a bad taste in my mouth how bitter he is. And it's crazy because I feel like besides Dot, I mean his jury management skills ain't that bad. I would give him about a 5 or a 6. I mean he doing okay, but just Dot might be, getting to some people. But I think I don't know, Patty grew some respect for him, so that might be Patty gets his vote back, So anything without Q, as my cohort said, because he can't win against Queen Q, but he do got a good shot against everybody else, because he has played a damn good strategic game. I don't even see him popping off as a bad thing, like I just feel like, he stood up and didn't let fucking Dot just try to call him out and throw him under the bus. And I think some people gonna respect that. I would. And so hopefully the jury will see that.
Now you've already said 2 people need Q out. So what does Q need to do to make the end and win?
And honestly, whatever Q is doing right now, that shit is working. I've been saying this shit for I don't know how many episodes now, but Q is about to take this shit. She has played a beautiful game. And even in this getting Dot out, like I don't know if I necessarily would give her full credit, but I say she had a lot to do with getting him out, and she knew that she wanted him out. So she just adding on that resume. It's just getting longer and longer. And honestly, man, nobody can knock her. If Meg and Patty are talking about voting how they really are gonna vote, and based off of the most strategic, she got a good chance against anybody she sit up there with. She is gonna fucking win if they let her make it to the end. And don't let her win another competition because how many has she won right now? 1?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like she's doing okay competition wise. And the thing is, even without winning immunity, which we all said, we've all said each week, Q gotta win, or she going home. And she don't win, and she don't go home. So I mean, she killing that social game somehow. She got the numbers right in her favor when she need them to be, even if it's not Didi sometimes, which I was like, interesting. So Q got a good chance. She about to win this shit.
Taste.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. One thing I don't is that I really do think that either Alex or Q could win. I think Q's best shot is just to take out. Don't let Alex get to the finale. Just to square everything away. I think her. She wins in any case as long as he's not there. But she's done a hell of a job. When you're that big of a target and you really need to win immunity to keep yourself safe, she's maneuvered this game brilliantly. I don't want to take credit away from Alex because there is something to be said about making it through the game without being a target. but I think they're comparable. I think both of those two, their best shot of winning this game is to not have the other one in the finale with them. And as far as ratings go, kind of on par with Alex, except I would give Q maybe a little bit higher in the strategy sector, because she has had a target and she has got that person out if she needed to.
Okay.
I almost agree with that assessment to the T. What Q has done that the other big strategic players haven't done is that she's been more honest about her gameplay. The people who were working with her know they were working with her. And the people that she was against knows that she was against them. And there's something that you can respect about that. Even if somebody took you out, knowing that they were on the other side, and it was, there's something about that clean shot that I think may not be as bitter as you might maybe think. But I agree with that completely. Alex and Q's conditions for winning the final are exactly the same. They don't want to sit next to each other and Hassan, because then Hassan actually has a chance at winning that. And they really don't want to sit next to each other. I mean, they just don't. So, because they both have a lot of the same cases to plea and the same strengths. I agree with Dave's assessment. I'm going to give Q a score of 10. I don't think it was perfect, but I do think her strategic play is worthy of a 10 because it was just that good. And competitively, I think she's one of the stronger competitors, so I'm going to give her like a 6 or a 7. And I mean, I think Alex is the strongest. I only gave him an 8. So, I mean, I think Q's a solid 6 or 7. And then socially, I think she's better than people are giving her credit for. I caught some flack for my statement she rules by fear, but I think even Dot said something in this episode or the last one that meant exactly what I said. Like, once somebody catches that heat, she never has to breathe that fire again. That dragon never has to breathe that fire again because she breathed it one time, and nobody else wants to catch that smoke. And so when I was talking about ruling by fear, that's kind of what I meant, is once you let somebody have that shit, nobody wants to catch that. So it's just like, Dot didn't even vote for Q. He voted for Alex. You know what I mean? Like, so nobody wants to catch that shit. And I attribute that as part of Q's social game. I think she's played an amazing social game, way underrated. Probably not as strong as Dee Dee's, but really good, like a solid 7. I think Q is the best overall player to win, and I think she should win, barring some crazy Hassan win, which would just blow my fucking mind.
Does anybody play poker? Hold'em?
I played poker for 10 years professionally.
So Q's whole cards were something like an ace-3 offsuit, connectors, but low connectors, something you want to be in the hand with, maybe, depending on your position at the table. And she caught the wheel on the river. That's where we're at. It wasn't a great hand, but she played it the way she needed to, and played the odds and caught the straight on the river card, and might take this pot down.
She played it perfectly because she was down in the numbers when the cleaners were in control. She pushed. She got the Meg vote exactly when she needed to get Meg out. She was then a target, managed to navigate being a target, won immunity probably the time it was going to kick her in the ass and she was going to go, and then had time after that to navigate socially, paint bigger targets on other people. I mean, there's just not enough good things I can say. I'm fully team Q from here on out. I think she's played the best game, and I have nothing but respect for that.
What about Dee Dee, fan guy?
Dee Dee's social 10. I think everybody loves Dee Dee, even if you don't work with. Like, how can you not like Dee Dee? I've never even spoken to the girl in person. I missed her interview, and I still rate her a 10. Like, I just think she's fantastic. So I think socially she's amazing. Strategically, come on, Dee Dee. I think she's more in it than we thought, though, because she's keeping notes and shit. So, yo, Dee Dee, I was impressed by the fact you had your notebook. You were keeping notes. Get you some, girl. That shows your head's in it more than I was giving you credit for, and a lot of other people probably. So strategically, look, I'm not going to put you at fucking any high level, really. But, like, look, 5. You get a 5. You took your notes. average strategic play. And then competitively, I don't think DD's great or bad. I think I'd give her a 5. I think she's, probably better than people think. She hasn't shown to be bad at challenges. So yeah, probably pretty average. Ultimately, her best chance at winning, sit next to the people who people don't want to vote for. So if you're DD 100%, you got to hope for a better jury. I'll say that. That's what I'll say, because it doesn't matter who she sits next to. If the jury's bitter and DD's in the final, she'll probably win.
Dazed.
So let's go back to the poker analogies. DD started off with a 7-2 offsuit in the hole, and the flop comes, something 7, and in order for her to win, she's got to hit a 7 on the turn and a 7 on the river. She wins by a miracle. I love DD. Her social game, I think, is a 10. She showed that by winning isolation, and I absolutely love the girl. She's funny as, just everything about her is good. But her strategic game, her comp game, 0-0. Sorry, DD. I'll give you a 1 in both. So your total score is a 12.
Bro, she had a notebook. She was taking notes.
I don't care. Her game right now is all about luck. If she wins, it's because, I don't actually see how she wins. At least with Hassan, he wins by a bitter jury. I don't see that happening with DD. I mean, I think she's got second place at least, and she loses to either Q, Hassan, or Alex.
Aspen, do you think DD could win on social game alone?
Alone, I don't know. It's a great one, I must say. I'm gonna commend her for that. She has a great social game, but I don't know if that alone will do it. Like competition wise, I think she does have to maybe pull out a win, and even Elizabeth pulled out a win at this point. So I was gonna say that's who she could maybe sit next to, but at this point, Elizabeth kind of got that one up, is that she just won that challenge. So yeah, DD, man, yeah, she a nice girl. I'm sure we probably will link up one day in the future, but as far as winning this, man, it is not looking good. The odds are not in her favor. As Daves was saying, I don't know. It's a tough one, because yeah, she got to make a move. At this point, what can she do? She's been trying to get out Alex for weeks now, and if she could get out Alex, she might win. There we go.
Yeah, looking at the numbers, there's not a combination of final 3 that doesn't include either Alex, Q, or Hassan. I just don't. I don't see a road to victory there.
Fanga, you don't think she could win the similar spot to Hassan against?
Absolutely.
If the jury's bitter, anyway.
I think DD has no blood on her hands, unless Nick, you drop the ultimate bombshell finale, and you say this game is not determined by votes, but it will be determined who can look at that point on the wall for the longest without breaking a fucking glance. Unless that all of a sudden becomes the final challenge by which the game is determined, then Hassan realistically shouldn't win this game. So yeah, I think DD's more likable than Hassan, and I think DD hasn't rubbed anyone the wrong way. Even the people she's voted out don't seem to be particularly too bitter towards DD. So I think she has no blood on her hands, and Hassan has nothing on his hands. So when it comes down to the final speeches, I think if DD turns on the charm and people were wavering between her and Hassan because they just don't want to vote for the third person for whatever reason, like bitter at Q, then absolutely DD can win just by securing those bitter votes over Hassan's.
Well, I guess that is all, unless you guys have any final thoughts on this episode or the finale, predictions as usual.
Can you kind of tell us what games are in the comprehensive challenge?
Well, I mean, there's 2 challenges, but I'm 1 challenge before that, which is the
Oh, we still have. We
What's
have to
this
get to the
challenge? What's this
final.
coming? Yeah, what's this coming challenge?
it's the you guys played in your season where it was like synonyms. You had to change the.
Ooh.
Love that fucking
Oh,
game.
yeah, the one where me and Fang is the one where it was like Backstreet Boys was the answer and whatever that me
And
and
Mike
Fang
was
got killed
pissed.
because we're old as fuck.
Yeah. Dude, I knew
Uh,
it. I was like, dude, I don't even need to look most of these up. I'm old as fuck. These are all from the year 2000. I graduated this year. This is the peak of my pop culture shit.
Except
well,
this
that
one
was
is
the-
between 1991 and there's one from each year from between 1991 and 2019.
I'd fuck that one up too. Don't get me in the ring on that channel.
Well, we know Elizabeth won't win it because she doesn't know pop culture at all.
I bet on Q or Alex.
Yeah, I could see either one of those winning this. Both of them are extremely intelligent and know pop culture really well. They can put the synonyms together. It maybe Dee Dee pulls out a win. I'd be surprised, but this might be her opportunity to do so. Prediction just like last week. No real prediction because it could go either way, and everybody has their own individual road to victory at this point. So the votes could be all over the place, and there's no safeties left that I know of. Dee Dee has one.
You just husband for one more round.
I mean, I would like to. Oh, I'm sorry, Aspen. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would just want to say I think it's interesting getting to watch the jury chats because one thing I think that players for future seasons need to keep in mind, and something that I'm learning watching the jury chats, is that the jury's talking. And if you think that the jury possibly doesn't have power to influence other jury members and how they're voting, that may be something you need to calculate into who makes the jury and who's in the jury and their opinion of you, because there are a couple smooth talkers in this jury and they might lean a few votes a couple of ways whenever push comes to shove. So I just thought that's interesting, actually getting to watch the jury chats, because I think it adds a whole nother layer to the game that I think is easy to overlook, and that is jury management. So I love seeing the jury chats. But I agree with Days. I'll make a prediction. I think Alex. I'll actually say I think Alex is going to win this challenge, saving himself and forcing a little bit of drama. I think it's suited for him. I know he's into the arts and TV and movies, and he's sharp. I think Q is too. But I'm just going to flip a coin and bet on Alex here. I think Hassan is voted out, and I think it's not as bad of a move as it looks. Because even though I said he was Tom Brady, I think there's actually a world he wins.
He's Tom Brady on the Buccaneers. I mean, I don't know about on the Patriots. Something to add on to what Fang Guy said for future seasons: participate in the jury. You have a really important role in this game by deciding the winner. And I'm talking to you, Jake and Rayleigh, like, get your butts in there and talk about this shit.
Well, I would say for Rayleigh, she was going through a personal problem, a family issue.
Okay. And to those that are actually showing up to the jury, less trying to convince everybody else why you should have won after you're already out, and let's actually talk about who's left in the game and who should win this game.
Yeah.
I think after people get voted out, the first thing you want to do is kind of yes. So I expect to see that out of every person for their first jury chat. And then after that, I expect it to subside. I think everyone's going to come into jury and be like, what the fuck happened to me? And then after that, I think it should be that way with each person following. But yeah, I don't like the fact some of the jury members aren't participating. Like, if you want to be salty and check out for a day, be salty, check out for a day, but you signed up for the whole experience. And it's a whole experience. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's the experience of it all. So experience.
Don't be a Sandra and quit.
Yeah,
Oh, Aspen.
I know, right? Stop. I see. But he only taking shots at his boy Jake. That's the one who ain't coming. So how about that? Yeah, I agree with them, man. I'm gonna go on a whim and I'm gonna kind of go the opposite coin flip of fan guy and say Q wins because I was kind of torn between Q and Alex. I'm gonna say Q win though. She seemed to be a little hip to the game, so Didi might could bring it out. I don't know. Didi sometimes surprise me, but I don't really see it happening. I'm gonna say Q. Um, and I hope Hassan gets voted out too. That would be a smart move. That would be a good move. But I think it will also be an interesting move if maybe Q and Didi kind of turned on Alex. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see how the vote gonna go. I don't know about that, but
I think Alex might need to win, or else that might
Yeah.
happen. I think if Alex doesn't win, that might happen.
If Alex does win this challenge, I think Didi has to play her idol
for
Herself
who?
or for Q?
for herself, because I think if Alex wins, it's a chance for him to take Q out, but he doesn't necessarily have to go after Q. He could take out Didi. I mean, there's different ways he could go. I think it's necessary for Didi to play it for herself. I don't think it's going to do her much good in the final four to get to the final three. I think this might be just the time to play it if Alex wins. If he doesn't, I think he's the target, and there's a good chance that he would go home.
Who is the threat everybody needs to focus on? Q, Alex, Hassan.
Varies from person to person. I mean, that's kind of what we
Yeah.
were just describing. Like each person's biggest threat might be somebody different. So I think that's the interesting dynamic here is everyone, in my opinion, the person you should be going for is Q. I think she outwardly has the biggest resume. I think it was for everyone to see. It wasn't a surprise. It's nothing she's going to have to eloquently justify. You know, everyone has already seen it. And Q is eloquent. Therefore, in her final speeches, she can focus on other shit. Because people already know what she did to the cleaners. People already, you know. So absolutely, I think you if you're trying to win, you need to target Q. And I don't think you play an idol for anyone but yourself at this point in the game. I think if you're going to play an idol for somebody else, it needs to be a little earlier when you need to secure your numbers type thing. But at this point in the game, I don't think anybody needs to be playing an idol for anyone other than themselves.
God, if Q gets Didi to play that idol for her, game over. Just give Q the win. Absolutely.
Any final thoughts?
Are we going to be here next week?
I'm going to be in a hotel room, so if I have Wi-Fi that's good enough, then we will try to do one for the finale.
Probably still be better than mine. So.
Yeah, yours was not very good last night.
Great episode. Great episode. Great
Yeah.
last 2 episodes. I wasn't here last week. Great last 2 episodes. It's just been a phenomenal season. I think a lot of good gameplay all around. Curious to see how it shakes out.
100 times better than our season, where half the people didn't show up.
You guys had a rough season, but I still think it ended up good in the end, the last few episodes anyway. That's all I have for you this week. I'll see everybody next week.
All right, cool.
Maybe.